What's up, Uber757 here. So let's talk about a couple of things real quick you should do when you're picking up and dropping off your customer. First of all, when your customer comes up to your vehicle, a lot of times they're in the habit of just hopping right in. And you kind of get used to that, but if you're uncomfortable with that, what you want to do then if you're uncomfortable is you want to keep your doors locked. Maybe roll down the passenger side window and ask them what their name is to make sure the right person is getting into the vehicle. Now, normally I don't have a problem. Normally, there's not so many Nissan Cubes out, so normally they're getting to the right vehicle. But there's a lot of Toyota Corollas out, stuff like that. So, for example, so you might want to, before you unlock your door, roll your window down and ask who it is. Now, I know myself, usually I'll do that, like if I'm in a neighborhood it's kind of shady or something like that, or I'm not sure about something, that's when I'll do that. But if I'm at a pretty populated place or whatever, people usually see me pop right in, whatever, and then you want to verify the person's name. And keep in mind, oftentimes nowadays too, it might not be that person, but as long as they give you the right name, you're good, because that means girlfriend, boyfriend, mom, daughter, son, whatever, got an Uber for someone else. That happens quite a bit. So just verify the name, make sure the name is correct, and try to cover your phone up for a second too, so they can't see the name. That way you don't get a fraudulent rider in your ride. So that's one thing. Of course, you know, make sure before they get into the car that the seats are clean, the car looks decent, stuff like that. I've talked about before, making sure you join like a local car wash club to save yourself some money on car washes and vacuums. Something like that you can do. And of course, when you drop the customer off, I'll oftentimes tell them, say, hey, look, Google Maps usually gets me close, but which house is it? Make sure you drop them off at the right house or the right business or the right spot they want to be dropped off at, because sometimes GPS will get you close, but it doesn't know everything, and you want to make sure you're dropping the customer off in the right spot. You don't want to drop them off in the wrong spot. You know what I mean? I mean, they'll tell you usually, but you want to get them as close to that spot as you can. Of course, it helps keep your ratings high when you get them, where you got to get them to. But sometimes people's addresses are difficult to see, even at night, even with a flashlight, difficult to see. And I know that from when I used to deliver pizzas. It can be very difficult, even with a flashlight, a high-powered flashlight, to find some of these places, even with your GPS going, because of the way they're set up. And then, of course, you want to make sure that while you're in the process of dropping the customer off, you look back at the customer and smile and say 5 stars, and you try to do it right there where they're at when you're ending a trip. Give them 5 stars to kind of encourage them to give you 5 stars. It does help. And if you notice, especially if the customer's like drunk, or if they're high, come on now, somebody's high. You want to, say, hey man, or say, hey, hey guys, double check. Make sure you guys don't leave your wallet, cell phones, and so make sure you got all your stuff. Make sure the customers have, all their stuff. Every now and then they're going to leave something. That still happens to me every now and then, but at least open your mouth and say that. That way they'll quickly check their pockets, see if they got their phones, their wallets, their purses. You'd be surprised that people leave in your car, even after you ask them to check. But at least you ask them to check. And if you ever have to return an item, you find an item, you have to return it, for example, do what I do. I live near a high school in Virginia Beach, so I'll have them meet me over at the high school. I don't have them meet me at the house. I have them meet me over at the high school. That way they don't know exactly where you live at, or meet you somewhere else, for example. Maybe there's a Wawa nearby, whatever. Go to the Wawa, or maybe, I don't know, have them meet you at a popular mall in your area, and tell them I'm going to be here at this time, and I'm going to be here between this time and this time. Whatever, and meet up with that person to get their property back. Because usually Uber will contact you. Well, on rare occasions too, the customer will call you, because Uber might give them your number, or they just somehow got your number. So, but usually they don't have your number. Usually they don't. But make sure that you're returning their items on your terms, because now, you know, not to be mean or anything, but they're now inconveniencing you, because when you're not Ubering, you know what I mean, it's your time, you have your life. And you know, sometimes I've had a situation where, because of my other job, I'm like, hey man, hey, yeah, I'd love to help you, but I have another job and I'm out of the state. I'll get back with you in 5 days when I get back. You know, but you know it's not your fault. They left their items in your car, and you're not a babysitter. But nonetheless, at least give them that courtesy of at least attempting to say, "Hey, make sure you have all your stuff before you before you leave." And if you're really questioning it real quick because you know they're like stupid drunk, once they get out the car, I've done it a couple of times, like dropping off at Naval Base in Norfolk. So my shipmates, because I'm a former sailor, so shipmates, I've gotten out, my flashlight, looked in the back, and made sure nothing was in there, and I found a couple cell phones. Like, hey, buddy, this your phone? Oh, yeah, man. Oh, you're my phone. Yeah, thanks, man. So just take a moment, if they're really drunk or high, to just get out the car and look in your back of your vehicle and make sure they don't have anything between the seats, under the seats, just so it'll save you some headache. And that's my quick tip for the night. I'm not going to drive tonight. I got my car back, as you guys already know, from the transmission place. So far, so good. So I got some other business tomorrow, so I'm not going to drive tonight. But that's my little tip. Be safe out there. Uber on, Lyft up. My Uber referral codes and Lyft referral code will also be in the description. My GoFundMe page will be in the description if you want to help me out with my transmission stuff, because it hit me financially a little bit. And also a link to the Mile IQ app to keep your mileage for tax purposes will also be in the description. Uber 757. Have a great night.